My dream was to just fully feel like you were inside of the video game. Completely forget about
How
the
old
real
were you
world.
when you started working there?
So I started building virtual reality headset prototypes when I was 14 or 15. And then I built the first prototype of what I'd call the Oculus Rift at 16. And then I formally turned it into a company when I was 18, launched the product when I was 19. And then sold the company a few years later to Facebook for a few $1 billion. So it was kind of a crazy arc for me.
Wow.
That was like I was putting myself through
The
school.
one
Did you work with
episode
Carmack?
that really got me
Carmack
emotional was I was doing the dark side of DARPA.
John Carmack was one of my heroes growing
And
up.
I
Love
went
that
into
dude.
that.
And it was
everyone
one of
knows
these crazy
DARPA and their
things where
projects
universe kind of
and
brought us
their
together.
science going back to
I was
whatever,
working on
40s,
my
50s,
VR
60s.
technology, and
But
nobody was
in
paying
the,
attention.
as
to
I was
VR
going
back
through
then.
the
It was
research,
kind of a
I
crazy person
found
thing. Nobody was paying
the
attention to what I was
connection
doing.
between
I was
DARPA
posting about
and
it on this internet forum.
Agent Orange
and then John
Agent
Carmack
Purple and all
started
of that, all
posting on that
all the
same
Vietnam
forum,
chemicals.
asking for help
And
modifying.
I got very
his
emotional about
own
that because
Sony
my
head-mounted
father-in-law
display that he had bought
suffers
to
from
reduce the
everything,
latency.
every
so I gave him
illness
a
that you
bunch
can
of
have from
input
Agent
on
Orange.
why he couldn't
Was he a
do it,
Vietnam vet?
why
He
it was
was
a
Air Force.
impossible
Damn.
project,
Two
because I had been trying to do the same thing. And then he ended up seeing the work I was doing on the Oculus
it was a
Rift,
very
and he said,
frustrating
"Hey, Palmer, can I buy
episode.
one of these from you?" I said, "Well, I'm not really selling these yet, but I'd be happy to lend it to you for free." And so I sent it to him. He ended up writing a review and posting it on his blog and said it was the best VR experience the world has ever seen. He introduced me to Sony. They tried to hire me to run their VR research and development lab. I turned them down. They doubled the offer. I turned that down. And then so John was kind of the guy who got me, like, really, he's kind of the first guy who got any public attention for me, where everyone was like, oh, if John Carmack says this is important, then this must be important. And then, if you could believe it, 2 years later, after I started Oculus and started selling these, he actually left id Software and became the CTO of Oculus. So
Yes.
we got then I had the incredible opportunity to work with one of my childhood heroes as my CTO. That was so
what
cool.
year was that?
That was 2012.
Okay,
So although
'cause he came on
he
the
joined-
podcast, I
he-
think 2016. He brought one.
Yeah.
One of
So
the-
yeah, he joined in 2013. So I think it was June of 2013. So about a year after I started Oculus is when he joined as CTO.
Well, he showed us, and he was doing whatever the one is where I guess you have drumsticks. Is that what you have? And you're whacking stuff as it comes out of the sky. He showed us that, and like what a workout it is.
Probably with Beat Saber.
Yes,
Yep,
Beat
no,
Saber,
he's a
that's
huge
it.
Beat Saber fan.
Oh, he was going nuts, and he was doing it really fast. I was like,
no.
this is nuts.
It's it is good fitness.
Yeah.
It is good coordination training.
Yeah.
It Beat Saber was great because it really busted this myth that VR was this totally inactive, be a fat lazy slob thing.
Right.
People,
Fight.
no. My
The
dream
one
was to just
episode that
fully
that,
feel like
that
you were
really got me
inside of the video
emotional
game.
was I was doing the dark
Completely
side of
forget
DARPA.
about
How
the
old
real
were you
world.
when you started working
And
there?
I went into that. Everyone knows
No.
DARPA and their projects and their science going back to whatever 40s, 50s, 60s. But as I was going through the research, I found the connection between DARPA and Agent Orange and Agent Purple and all of that, all the Vietnam chemicals, and I got very emotional about that because my father-in-law suffers from everything, every illness that you can have from Agent Orange.
Was he a Vietnam vet?
He was Air Force.
Damn.
Yeah, TUI base. It was a very frustrating episode because it's close to me and my family. And it took Jerry 30 years to get his benefits. And it just made me furious. Because my family's stocked with military and law enforcement. And it's, I think in that episode I said something like, when your country needs you, you answer the call. But when you need your country, take a number. And it took 30 years. And it wasn't that much money. And attacked very aggressively, whether it was DuPont or the government or CIA or the military. I attacked everybody because I was just like Yosemite Sam because I was so angry. And when I finished that episode, I was thinking, this isn't that super fun. There's not a lot of fish. There's not a lot of, my show is supposed to be fun.
Mm-hmm.
So I wasn't going to release it. And then I just felt it was important. And maybe my platform could bring some attention to it. I didn't think anyone would really like that episode. And there was out bums.
I haven't seen that one.
It starts out fun, but it gets kind of dark.
Did your dad get all of his benefits?
This is my father-in-law.
Your father-in-law?
I don't know if he got all of them. It wasn't a lot of money. There's not enough money for all the stuff that these guys. More soldiers were injured by the chemicals than were injured in combat. The Vietnam frustrates me. The whole subject.
Me too. Me too. Well, is he still alive? Mm-hmm. Well, I would love to help you get him all of the benefits that he deserves if he needs that. And so a little bit, this isn't supposed to be about me at all, but when I left contracting for the CIA, I had nothing. And my best friend was, who was also a SEAL, and then we contracted together at the agency. He had fallen into heroin addiction, as a lot of vets do. And so I was trying to help him get back and put my whole life aside to make that happen. So we're trying to find out how in the fuck do you get VA benefits, at least get the health care that you're deserved. And it was crazy. And I couldn't get anybody to help me. And then somebody had sent me a contact and said, you should call this woman. Her name's Peggy Matthews, and she's out of Boston. And she is an older woman, has a very small nonprofit, very grassroots, runs it out of the living room of her house, and took me in. And I credit this woman with saving my life and my best friend Gabe's life. Up to a certain point, he did wind up passing from his addiction. But she really took us under her wing and said, I've been doing this for a long time. I want to help the special operations community because nobody understands it inside of the VA. Nobody gives a shit. And then when she got him, she asked me if I would help spread the word throughout the special ops community, and I did that. And now she has helped thousands of special ops guys. And but her real passion is the Vietnam generation. So I would mention if there's anything that he's not receiving that he's entitled to, he'll get it.
I'll find
through
out.
her. And another thing, there is this. You had mentioned something about there's not enough money. That's fucking bullshit. Every single person that signs up and signs that dotted line to go into the military and serve this country, that money is already set aside for you up to 100% disability plus more. And so he's already entitled to it. It's just navigating the way to get there. And she's mastered it. So I'll give you that connection.
That'd be nice. It seems like the system is set up to be confusing, especially if you're an older guy and you're sick and you're just, trying to make your mortgage. I mean, come on.
Yeah. It's insane. It's insane how this country continues to treat the veterans that have served it from the beginning all the way up until this point. And it's a real travesty. But so DARPA was involved in Agent Orange and all this stuff?
Yeah, I mean, DARPA was involved in so many dark projects going back to the beginning. But yeah. Damn.
Well, that got heavy quick.
I know, we got right into the deep water.
Damn.
Instead of the fish.
But so I want to talk. Where did you come from? How did the Y Files start?
I guess I'll skip 20 years. Born in the Bronx, raised around New York City, Long Island. And back east was dabbling in stand-up and acting and voice work, and finally landed a decent gig in radio, working for MTV. You're not old enough.
You're working for MTV?
Early since. So was doing that and then came out to LA to work for Playboy Radio on Sirius XM. You're too young to remember that, but Sirius XM was a thing. And,
I'm not as young as you think I am. I must look young today. I'm going to have to wear this more often.
So I was always around like show business, but always on the outside. You know, radio is like that's like the lowest rung. It's like there's like radio and then there's open micers. So I was always kind of on the outside, but I wanted to be a host. I wanted to be an on-camera host. I took classes and a lot of training. I did very well. Was auditioning a little bit. Nothing really landed, and just kind of slipped away from it. And then over the course of the next maybe 10, 15 years, through a couple of different businesses that were always launched with my wife, Jen, and my brother, Gino, we opened a podcast studio around 2014.
Can I backtrack real
course.
quick? So you were trying to make it in the entertainment industry, and they stiff-armed you. And 4 years after you start a podcast, you're consistently in the top fucking 10. How hilarious is that? I hate the entertainment industry.
I spent 20 years.
You're the perfect example of what they missed. Like, how the fuck did you miss this one? Top 10 podcast in 4 years, totally missed it. I love it. I love these stories.
I won't say the network, but it was really glorious to turn down an offer last week from a network. It's like, I was here the whole time. So now the answer is no.
Still the same guy.
I am. Still talking about the same stuff. My host reel from 25 years ago is really me talking about Area 51 and aliens and conspiracies. It's like, that's what is fun to me. So we had a podcast studio. It fell apart. We tried it again in 2019. And we were a studio hosting shows. And we hosted a lot of big shows from a lot of comedians from the Comedy Store would operate out of our studio. And we weren't making any money. Couldn't make any money in podcasting. And then COVID hit. And then, Jen comes to me and says, they're going to lock down the city and all businesses are going to close. And I'm like, they can't do that. I said, don't listen to the media. They can't do that. It's against every law and constitution. We're going to be fine. She's like, I think they're going to do it. And they did it. I'm in Los Angeles and our studio is on Sunset, so the story gets worse. And so they locked us down, and me being me, saying, I'm not wearing a mask, and I'm not shutting down. We're staying open, and I was very vocal about it. Let them come and shut us down. Just roll camera on it. But it didn't matter because the talent wouldn't come in, and nobody would come in. And everyone was afraid, and with the masks and everything. So now money's just falling. We're just going down the drain. Living off of savings, not making anything, not really sure what to do. And then divine providence, I guess, was Black Lives Matter hit LA. And I don't know, when I talk to people about what Los Angeles was like during that time, they're often surprised when I say that, I'm not used to seeing police SUVs upside down on fire, but we saw that all the time.
No, it was that
all the
bad.
time. It all the time, and like I'm surprised that nobody really knows that, but that information didn't get out. So at this time, the city's on fire. Our whole studio is surrounded by tents that we can't do anything about. And there was one night where they set fire to the building next door to us, which was, and I don't know how much money's in a juice bar, but we just happened that with concrete block. We were in it was like a fortress. But when they were attacking the buildings on the block, I was there in the studio, asleep on the couch in the middle of the room, with the guns on the table, with my wife there. And outside it sounds like The Walking Dead. You just hear howling and screaming and sirens. And then after it calms down a little bit, maybe it's 3, 4 in the morning, we're on our way home, going down Sunset, make the left onto Highland. And for those people who know LA, Hollywood and Highland is a very busy intersection, and there's a lot of stores and stuff there. And it's just like zombies are out, and they're knocking in windows and looting everywhere. And we're just trying to get back home. And we're on Hollywood and Highland, and suddenly a crowd turns to us with baseball bats and just starts coming. And I throw it in reverse, and I'm flying backwards down Hollywood Boulevard in the middle of the night with all this stuff going on. And Jen's like, "You're gonna hit somebody." I said, "Look, if they're in the street, they're meat. I'm not gonna stop. They're gonna yank us out of the car." We finally got home, and we said, "That's it. We're done. We're leaving. LA is done." We started packing immediately and left and headed to Scottsdale, Arizona. The one episode that really got me emotional was I was doing the dark side of DARPA. And I went into that. Everyone knows DARPA and their projects and their science going back to whatever, 40s, 50s, 60s. But as I was going through the research, I found the connection between DARPA and Agent Orange and Agent Purple and all of that, all the Vietnam chemicals. And I got very emotional about that because my father-in-law suffers from everything, every illness that you can have from Agent Orange.
Was he a Vietnam vet?
He was Air Force.
Damn.
Yeah, TUI base. And it was a very frustrating episode because it's close to me and my family. And it took Jerry 30 years to get his benefits. And it just made me furious. Because my family's stocked with military and law enforcement. And it's, I think in that episode I said something like, and it took 30 years. And it wasn't that much money. And that was an episode that was very emotional, and I attacked very aggressively. You know, whether it was DuPont or the government or CIA or the military, I attacked everybody because I was just like Yosemite Sam because I was so angry. And when I finished that episode, I was thinking, this isn't that super fun. You know, there's not a lot of fish. There's not a lot of my show will be fun.
Mm-hmm.
So I was not going to let it. I wasn't really that important, and maybe bring some attention to it. I didn't think anyone would really like that episode, and there was just an outpouring of response.
So I haven't
started to get scared.
I mean, did your dad get all of his benefits?
This is my father-in-law.
Your father-in-law?
I don't know if he got all of them. It wasn't a lot of money. There's not enough money for all the stuff that these guys. More soldiers were injured by the chemicals than were injured in combat. The Vietnam frustrates me. The whole subject.
Me too. Me too. Well, is he still alive?
Mm-hmm.
Well, I would love to help you get him all of the benefits. So a little bit, you know, this isn't supposed to be about me at all, but when I left contracting for the CIA, I had nothing. And my best friend was, who was also a SEAL, and then we contracted together at the agency. He had fallen into heroin addiction, as a lot of vets do. And so I was trying to help him get better and put my whole life aside
my dream
to
was
make
to
that
just
happen. And
fully
so
feel
where I
like
started
you were
was
inside of the video game. Completely forget about
How
the
old
real
were you
world.
when you started working there?
So I started building virtual reality headset prototypes when I was 14 or 15.